are just celebrating the 10th anniversary of the Friends of the Holy Land, which happened in London in 2009.
We're a small charity with a very simple purpose, and that's to support and stand with our Christian brothers in the Holy Land.
We're in Coventry Cathedral, and I know there was an event yesterday in Glasgow. Both of these events just point to the importance of this charity, Friends of the Holy Land, which is dedicated to three things: prayer, pilgrimages, and practical support for the Christians who live in the Holy Land.
It's remarkable that so much has happened in such a short space of time, and it's growing apace, and it's growing in a lot of different ways. It's growing ecumenically. It's growing because it needs to grow, because life is getting harder for Christians in the Holy Land. Now, it's been hard for many years.
This is the first time we've been involved with the Friends of the Holy Land, but the Church of Scotland has a very well-established presence in the Holy Land for many decades now. We have a church in Jerusalem and also a church in Tiberias as well, but our main contact is with local partners.
I was in the Holy Land earlier this year. I went to Jerusalem back in March. I was travelling with a group of Christians, Muslims and Jews, so seeing the land through one another's eyes, which was very interesting and challenging, and really quite a privilege. So that was one strand of the interest. Also, when I'm not a minister, I'm a councillor in Glasgow City Council, and Glasgow is twinned with Bethlehem. It's one of our twin cities. So again, hearing about the work of Friends of the Holy Land and others in places like Bethlehem, it's really good to hear that and to see what we can do here in Glasgow to support our sisters and brothers in Bethlehem.
It's very touching that we should be here, and very significant to assemble together in the Midlands where the Friends began, as we were reminded today, with the pilgrimage from here with Cardinal Vincent, and remembering Mr. Michael Whelan as well at the very start. I think the other thing is that the Friends has become such an important means of coming together ecumenically, and the Cathedral has a very important ecumenical role in Coventry and across the Midlands.
As one of the founding members, with another chap called John Whedon, who unfortunately is dead now, it's a case of from little acorns, big things grow. And to see this today and the way it's grown is just, it's so overwhelming. And I'm glad that it's happened like this. I'm pleased.
We work, as we've been talking about all day, on an individual basis with small families, with individuals. We help them meet their emergency needs. We try and develop sustainable projects for them, and that's what we do.
They're doing their very best to help individual Christians there, maybe people that are poor and need financial help, but also to help provide work for the Christians. And if the Christians don't have work, then they've got to go and leave. And one of the real sad things over recent years is a continuing decline in a number of Christians who are leaving the Holy Land. And you can't blame people, because they want what's best for their family and friend. And it's not just the hassle of the security situation there, of trying to get around and go through checkpoints and through barriers and all that, but this economic situation is so fragile. A lot of them depend upon tourism, and the tourism is sometimes booming and sometimes bust.
You can't get something more special at Christmas time than a crib that's made in the Holy Land from olive wood. It's really special. It gives jobs for people in the Holy Land, and there are very few jobs that they can do, but this is one thing that they can actually do and export, and it's something that we can buy, and the money goes back directly to the people in the Holy Land. We have quite a range, from £1 tree ornaments up to £93 for a really lovely crib. It's a fabulous crib, and there's quite a lot of cribs for sale, from £10.50 up to £93. I can get them online, and they're based in Kenilworth, and they can post them out to you. There's a catalogue that you can ask for, and that has all of the products that we have. That's on the Friends of the Holy Land site.
I'm reaching into my pockets here because I never travel without this cross that I was given, which is made of olive wood from Bethlehem. And when I was moderator of the Assembly last year, these were the gifts that I was giving out to people. Very important for us to support the indigenous folks in the Holy Land, and to remind myself every time I put my hand in my pocket that I was able to meet with some fantastic people in Israel, Palestine and in Jordan.
Spending time with the Livingstones, the people there, actually helps us grow in faith, but also I think grow in repentance, a proper repentance. Lord, I'm sorry that we haven't taken our brothers and sisters on board seriously in true solidarity. So I think 10 years is a great opportunity, and I think to celebrate as we have been, but it will, I believe and hope and pray, grow more and more and more.
Today has been an important gathering, both because it is one of the first times in which Christians from different denominations in Scotland have come together to pray and give thanks specifically for the Christians in the Holy Land, and I hope that will be the beginning of ongoing cooperation between us.
Today was all about trying to, first of all, mark our 10th anniversary, but reiterate that commitment to stand firm and be with our brothers and sisters in the Holy Land.
I've been talking to my own synod today, my address to them, about hope and how we as Christians, we as the churches must be communities of hope that can stand for hope and be people of hope in these difficult times that our world is facing, in the difficult times that our nation is facing, and regionally and locally as well. I took one of my young colleagues to the synod in Jordan of the Diocese of Jerusalem, and he was rather overwhelmed with some of the challenges that you were facing. And he said to, I think it's Hussein, isn't it, your dean, the dean of the Anglican Cathedral. He said, how do you keep going? How do you stay cheerful and sort of full of faith when you seem to have so many challenges before you? And the dean replied brilliantly. Well, he said, "Well, how can I not be a person of hope? I have a cathedral in the city where Jesus was raised from the dead. And that gave us hope. It was very powerful."
We're a fantastic charity. I think we do a huge amount of good out in the Holy Land, making a difference. But we also have fantastic groups here in the UK who provide social outlets, fundraising opportunities and prayer opportunities for their members and pilgrimage. So it's fantastic for Christians here in the UK and making a huge difference out in the Holy Land as well.
So it is hugely important that Christians in the Holy Land represent the presence of our faith in the place of its origin. And they represent an important part of a very tense and difficult area of the world. But without Christians, there'd be some essential element missing. And those communities are under great pressure, and they need all the support that we can give.
We see here that people also they have concern for the Christians who live there. I'm sure that after this visit, we will see practical steps to be taken in order, whether by a visit to the Holy Land, whether by supporting some projects, but definitely we will hear something good coming out of this gathering and of this visit.
The Friends of the Holy Land really do a lot to help support the Christian community and make sure there will be Christians in the Holy Land, as there have been since the time of Jesus. We don't want that to die out.
So please do support the Friends of the Holy Land. Support your Christian brothers and sisters with prayer, by going on pilgrimage if you get the chance, and by contributing financially to the work of the Friends of the Holy Land.